Today I'm making a vehicle system in FMOD, just a basic one using, this is my source material for my library. It's a Chevy Suburban, according to the metadata. So it's just like a linear track of a car idling, revving, etc. So I've separated everything into different loops and one-shots. So I have 3 loops here. We have as you're driving, so you're hitting the gas pedal. So it's revving at a constant rate. We have dirt road, because we want to be able to make it sound like a car going on and off of a dirt road. We have an idle loop for when the car is not moving. And then we have a transition from idle to rev. So it's like a little oomph to like get us into the revving loop. So this will basically we're going to combine all this in FMOD to create an engine sound that you can use in a video game. Open up FMOD. Let's do a new project. And we create a 3D timeline. And we'll call this engine. And I already exported those logic files. First, we're going to put in new tracks. So we want 4. We will call this idle rev underscore one shot rev underscore loop dirt. Boom. I'm going to have these 2 stacked under one. So we want to make some loop regions here. One there, and one here. Oh, actually, we don't need this loop region. That is our little transition, and then turn this down. I want that to be quite a bit quieter than the rev loop. We want to make a parameter called speed, and let's make it from 0 to 100, and it's continuous. Initial value, yep. Local, this would be useful if you were going to have multiple instances that use this event in a game engine, but for our purposes we'll just make it global. Assume that there's only one car in this whole game. So this is our speed parameter. We can move that up and down. Now if we just play this as a loop, it'll just idle. So this is our car idling. We want to make it go from idle, go through this little transition, and then arrive at this loop. So what we want to do first, let's make a destination marker. So we're going to make destinations for all 3 of these. And this one is idle. This is, we'll call it go. And we'll call this one going, because it's a loop. Idle, go, going. Now we have those destinations established. We make a transition region. So we want this to go to go. So right now it's just going there 100% of the time. But we want to make it to where it's going only when the speed is a certain value, which will be anywhere between 5 and 100. So now we'll put speed down to 0 and we'll hit this. It'll stay there. And then when we go above 5, we'll go to there. But it's kind of a abrupt transition, so we want to make a better one. About here. We'll bring this back a little bit. Yeah, so we'll go from 0, idling. Yeah, so it sounds like a car starting. Cool, so that's good. Now, we want to go from go directly into going. So instead of making a transition region, we want to make a transition marker. Or just transition. It's going to go to going. And so I ran into this trouble earlier. The transition time, this was like over here. and the transition happening from between there and there was stopping this from triggering to go to that. So you just got to make sure that when you're doing a very quick transition in and out, that you don't overlap this. So that can go like for a long time. This will come in, and we're gonna actually drag in our dirt loop also, because that's got to line up, just in case a player is like on a dirt road while they start. Go further in, bring this in even quicker. Okay, that's fine. So now we have the ability to go from idle to driving. Yeah, all right. We want to be able to also go back down to idle. So we want to make another transition region because it could happen at any point. We want to make this destination 2 idle. And the condition is also speed, but it's the inverse. Between 0 and 5 is what we want. So if it goes back down to between 0 and 5, it shifts back to idle. Now we want to make that transition too, so it's not crazy abrupt. No, far too abrupt, so it needs to be much longer. Sure. We're starting, setting our initial value over here. We're going up. Driving. Okay, and now we're gonna stop. And now you could put a parameter where it could even be in a separate event where it's like it triggers like a screeching or whatever, similar to like this one shot. But like it would depend on like if you're going, if the car is only going a little bit, like kind of slow and then stopping, it's not going to obviously screech because the velocity isn't there. But yeah, there's different ways you could do it. This is kind of a basic setup. I want to make, let's just mute this for a second. So this is what it would sound like if we're just on like a regular street. One final thing we want to add is whether or not the car is on dirt or not. So, okay. Dirt bool, range between 0 and 1. Oh, you know what? You do want it to be continuous, actually. I'll have it do a little bit quicker. Yeah, all right. Okay, so now we have our timeline, we have speed, we have dirt road, idle. Dirt road. There you go, half an hour. So now I have a template for my basic like engine sound in FMOD. Wonderful.